Alex, good to see you, bro. How you doing?
Doing
Alex and
good,
I know
doing
each
good.
other, so in case you wonder why I'm talking to him like that.
Well, how do you guys know each
Yes,
other?
we do. From we go way back, Josh and I. We actually this kind of will cover some of my background as well, I suppose. But Josh and I know each other from sort of my uh, earliest days back in crypto. I got involved in crypto back in 2021, 2022, more in the Arbitrum DeFi ecosystem. But Josh and I also worked together a little bit in the very early days of a microcap gem show when I had also launched a pump fund live stream called Hyperstition. And that's actually what led to my eventual development of Pyro, which I know is going to be our main focus for the show.
Look at that. That's some lore. Really interesting stuff. Okay, so let's get a background, Alex. That's really cool.
Yeah, so essentially, just to kind of pick up where I left off there, I created Pyro to solve what I think is still a pretty urgent issue to address in what has now become referred to as creator capital markets. And when we say creator capital markets, that's kind of a buzzword for really the ecosystem of largely pump fun live streamers, although it is not exclusive to pump fun. But we're talking about people who have launched live streams on platforms like Pump Fund that have a token that is affiliated with their stream. And again, this was something that I experienced myself when I was streaming on Pump Fund and launched a token, but this experience is not unique to me. There is a fundamental flaw in the current structure of creator capital markets, namely that has not until Pyro came along been a reliable value accrual mechanism for live streamer tokens. So people buy these tokens feeling like they are sort of making a bet on the success of that particular live streamer or creator. But right now, even if that creator ends up being massively successful, getting big sponsorships from top brands, there's nothing linking that to the creator coin. And so a lot of these tokens, even the really successful ones, start to fade pretty soon after the initial launch. And so I observed that at work when I was streaming on Pump Fun, and it caused me to want to build a solution to that, something that would allow creators to sustainably accrue value for their token holders, also benefit the creator themselves, and make this actually a sustainable on-chain economy. And so that's what you're seeing here with this app Pyro, and that's what our team has been working on over the past several months.
This is a really interesting thought. It's basically adding utility to tokens that have no underlying utility. So explain this part to me. If I wanted to get a banner ad up on this stream, I could burn some of the native currency, and then I could potentially get a banner ad up on their stream. Um, how do you coordinate getting the banner ad up? Is that something that goes through Pump Fund? I'm just a little confused there.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So the underlying tech is really simple, which has been crucial to our ability to see adoption. If you go back to the creator page, up at the top, you'll see there's someone streaming live right now. That is Noob King. But you'll see we've actually already onboarded 30 active Pump Fund creators. And for anyone who's streamed on Pump Fund, and this is just kind of getting into the mechanics of how streaming works, most people actually use software like Restream, which is what we're using here on this stream right now, or OBS under the hood when they're streaming on Pump Fund. So we just optimized for that. We have a super simple custom URL for every single creator. They drop that in as a source so that they can have it exist as an overlay on their stream. Showing who has bought and burned the most of their coins as a sponsor. And so that's what our streamers do. It takes them about 2 seconds, and it's allowed for pretty much seamless integration with Pump Fund. So we've been really happy with how that mechanic works in practice.
So let me try to then rationalize this for everyone. Just on the bottom there, how it says Microcap Gem Show shows some of our sponsors. You could essentially pop that up for top donators or burners, I guess, in this case, and their name could be represented in something similar to this, right?
That's exactly what it is. That is what our banner does. I mean, actually, if you were to click on Noob King's stream, he's a pretty consistent user of the banner overlay, so you might even be able to see it live. You can actually see it live if I don't know if you're able to blow that up cleanly directly from the app.
I can try and find it, Dom.
on
But maybe
public.
that's a great feature request right there. Oh yeah, here we
That
go.
is a
Yeah,
great
well,
feature.
this
Okay,
is
there we go. That's props to our full stack dev. Do you see Pyro up there in the corner where it says pyro.buzz? There you go.
Yep.
And you can see the sponsor banner there. And so what's super cool is that if you want to have your project or soon brand promoted on Noob King's stream, right? So he does a lot of gaming. So we're actually trying to coordinate some gaming related sponsors for him. You just go on Pyro, buy the Noob King native token, burn it, and you would, if you burn more than the current top sponsor, you would take that sponsor's place up at the banner and be promoted in real time. So that's kind of the simple mechanic that, as you can imagine, since sponsorship is the core of what drives the sort of live stream economy in general. It's actually a $150 billion market in the Web2 world. Bringing that on chain and connecting it directly to burn mechanisms is something that we think is going to be really compelling for the entire space and make this a lot more sustainable than its current sort of meme coin setup.
So, Alex, is this to replace like like, hey, someone sponsored you on YouTube and it like pops up and they're like, oh, thanks, Jim from Nebraska for sponsoring me? Is that kind of like what it does?
Yeah, I mean, so it's really up to the creator to make as much of it as they can. And we've definitely seen creators make a point of giving shout outs to their sponsors, getting to kind of know a little bit about the project. So if you lean into it, you'll get more out of it. We're also going to add, though, just sort of like a classic tipping feature of the sort you might see on Kick or Rumble, where people can just do a quick burn to get a message that flashes up on the screen and have sort of a short but fun interaction with the creator. So there's a lot of different options.
This is amazing, by the way. Like, I actually had no idea what you were doing, but like, I see huge potential for this. We might even try this and test this for ourselves.
We do not have a token, guys. For what it's worth.
Oh yeah. Actually, never mind. We're not going to do that. We do not have a token, and nor will we. But maybe a question on this is just like, what traction do you have for this yet? Like, do you you mentioned 30 streamers, but like, do you have like the amount burned and dollar value across all those streamers? Like, what kind of KPIs do you track for this?
For sure. So the first big push was definitely onboarding the streamers, because that's the core of the market, and we've been super happy with that. If you look at the streamers who we've onboarded, a lot of them are pretty high profile people. We have 6Man Ventures, Carl Vogel. He streams on The Trenches. That's one of our creators, and I actually just got off a call with him. We're going to be doing some cool experiments with that particular live stream. We also have some other creators who have, with an aggregate following, if you add them all up on X, of more than 250,000 across our creators. So getting that side of the market in place was goal number one. Now we're working really hard on the sponsor side. So we're going to be rolling out a new feature that I think is going to make a pretty significant difference in kind of scaling this two-sided market, which is what we call brand sponsorships. So right now, if you look at the UI, you'll see that it's been really optimized for coin communities to sort of promote their coin up on some of these creators' live streams. We chose that because that's been super successful. For example, on Deck Screener Boost, they make about $5 million a year just by giving new meme coins a chance to promote themselves. But we've had a lot of demand from brands that see these live streamers as a really good way to reach exactly the kind of audiences that they're trying to convert. So starting next week, we're going to be rolling out brand sponsorships with a few well-known Web3 brands that are going to be sponsoring some of our top streamers. And I think that with that launch is when things are going to get really exciting from just an activity perspective, and then also, frankly, a protocol revenue perspective for Pyro as well.
There are a lot of, definitely a lot of verticals with this. I guess just to keep us on time here, what's the token use case for Pyro then? Because this is obviously for other token utilities. Where do you guys come into this?
Yeah, and I was sort of, alluding to that a bit when I mentioned protocol revenue for Pyro. So off of every sponsor burn, we will be taking a small commission in SOL for the Pyro protocol, and we're actively working with Believe to implement the Believe Flywheel API so that at least a very sizable portion of that liquidity from the protocol fees will be redirected to Pyro token holders. So essentially, it is a flywheel token at its core. We're of course also leaning into the fact that we now have this token to help us bootstrap both sides of the market. So we've been giving rewards to some of our most active creators, and also incentivizing people to onboard new creators and sponsors into the ecosystem. So we do that with points that will be convertible to Pyro. So we think that that combination of having an implementation of the Believe Flywheel API, so that the growth of this platform directly benefits Pyro token holders, and then using the Pyro token to help bootstrap that market that generates the protocol revenue, is going to be a pretty powerful flywheel in the coming months.
Okay, for those that didn't fully understand that, basically what he's saying is this token will be directly tied to platform and revenue growth of the company, because they'll be implementing this flywheel mechanic that was enabled by the Believe API, and directly basically running revenue from the product into the token. So okay, that's pretty cool.
What I really like about this product is that it's scalable outside of crypto, and you could probably see kind of more and more traction. Now right now it requires you to have a pump fund token, right, to do this, or a token that you're burning. But the brand sponsorship, like, could a token streamer do this, or do they always have to have a token? Maybe it's
a really good question. There's nothing that would prevent us from just opening up the possibility of sponsoring a live stream just through sending SOL directly to the dev wallet address of a live streamer. We're designed to be a Web3 centric protocol, right? Like, there are existing platforms in Web2 for buying ad space on YouTube. There's no need for us to go.
Well, like, here's maybe a use case where, let's say you had this widget on a bunch of streamers, and like that cancer patient who got rugged by some scammers, like that became a story that transcended outside of Web3. Like, could a bunch of non-crypto streamers add this plugin, and then all of a sudden there's viewership on, I don't know, whoever stream, name big streamer. And like when it's burned there, it drives transaction volume back to that cancer patient's token. It's kind of
Yes, we could definitely do things like that. So I think that, the key lever here is that these are all on-chain transactions. And whether, we stick strictly to a burn model, whether we just allow people to send SOL or have, other mechanisms, and we do plan to kind of offer a variety of options for creators beyond just burning. We do intend to stay, fully Web3 centric, but I think the whole point and the whole thesis behind creator capital markets is that the line between, just this insular world of crypto Twitter and then the broader world of streaming writ large is beginning to blur. Yeah. So I fully expect we'll be taking advantage of that.
It feels like that's the biggest hurdle, right? Because, all the big streamers are not on Pump Fund right now. Maybe we transition there at some point, but right, a big unlock for Pyro would be somehow getting this used by, the Aiden Rosses of the world, or the Kai Cenats, whoever's big these days of the world. So,
well, Pyro would be worth a lot more than 120K. Potentially.
Yeah. And actually, one thing that I will mention is that, we are pleased with the fact that Pump Fund is doing a lot of that work for us. So our head of ecosystem, Alex Strassmore, also has a very close relationship with Pump Fund. He's been helping them onboard some of the some popular Web2 streamers, particularly from Kick or Twitch. And, he's also then been directing those people towards Pyro to integrate that, right from the beginning into their stream. And so we have a lot of Web2 streamers who are just dipping their toes into Web3 for the first time. So we can.
I have to ask, because you launched on Believe, but why didn't you launch Pyro on Pump?
That's a great question. I mean, look, I think Pump is a great platform. I think that they are completely dominant in meme coins, and also now, of course, in these creator coins. Believe is a really good ecosystem, though, for long-term oriented ICM projects, especially if they're interested in implementing a flywheel. They provide, right out of the box, some of the smart contract infrastructure to start pushing protocol revenue back to your token holders, which was appealing to us. And I think that the ecosystem is more long-term aligned. So that's what drove our decision to launch on Believe.
Makes sense. I was going to ask the same question, but interesting stuff. I'm certainly now curious to look into this more and just study it and research it. But we don't have Pandemic's Lab here yet, so I guess we can just riff for a little while too until they join.
Yeah,
let
where do you
me
think?
contact them for you.
Oh, sorry, Rainey. Go ahead.
I was going to say, let me just contact them for you real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Alex, like, where do you think? I was kind of bearish on Creator Capital Markets. I wouldn't say bearish, but like just kind of skeptically watching for a while. But I would say seeing Pump rip the way it did, and then seeing like World Star or like Hot New Hip Hop mention Pump.fun specifically in tweets of clips, and then have the little Pump logo animation at the end of the clip, like that kind of changed my tone on this. But really quick, 1 minute segment, like where does Creator Capital Markets go?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I still think that CT and particularly Solana are overly acclimated to thinking of everything in terms of metas. And so there right now is this prevailing narrative that, Creator Capital Markets had its moment, a bunch of new tokens launched, a lot of them are down now, therefore the meta is over. But that's really not the way to think about these things. Pump Fund has repeatedly said that they're going to put upwards of $100 million into onboarding popular Web2 live streamers onto their platform. So that alone, not to mention other launch pads almost certainly following suit, guarantees that this is going to be a really fast growing area with a lot of activity going on over the coming months. And so that's one of the reasons that we decided that now is the time to start building a base layer of infrastructure.
We completely agree, by the way. This is the Believe live stream right here with MCG. So yeah. Great. We're gonna end it there, Alex. But that was a great overview. Thanks for joining.
That's cool.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks, guys.
All right, see ya.
Awesome.